Gonna give my opinions on AEW Dynasty. It's gonna happen on Sunday, the 6th of April, I believe, 2025. As far as I'm aware, there are 9 matches to be contested. I've written them down there so I remember them and who I think is going to win. I'll try and give them a reason for it, but you know, I don't really know much. So, there we go. I don't know the order either. So the first match we're going to talk about is the Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. And that is the quarterfinal match between Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart. I don't think she's related to any of the Harts, but she's related to a Hart, but not the Hart that we're thinking of. It's okay. So we have the TBS champion and the other 3 belts that she's got that I don't remember what they are. It's okay though. Because Mercedes Moné is actually on a roll, I do think she's going to win this. But because I don't believe the title's on the line, it wouldn't surprise me if she actually lost. But for some reason, I'm going to go with Mercedes Moné, so she can basically probably get to the finals and then lose. These are only the quarterfinals. So because she's on a roll, I'm going to say Mercedes Moné. I haven't seen her actually lose yet. So she hasn't. I haven't seen it. Considering we're on the subject of the Owen Hart Cup, let's go for the men's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament quarterfinals. That's a long name. Sorry, but it is. Okay. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. I've only seen Kevin Knight wrestle once, and I believe he was in a tag team match with Will Ospreay. I think that was him anyway. But either way, I'm going to go for Will Ospreay, just because he seems more experienced. It makes more sense for him to win, and I like him. See, short, sweet, simple videos. I mean, easy to understand and follow. Then we have the tag team title match, which is the Hurt Syndicate, consisting of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, taking on the Learning Tree. I think that's what they're called anyway. I thought it was just Jericho that's called the Learning Tree. I don't know. Anyway, and that is Big Bill and Brian Keith. I think that's right. Yes, I've written it down. Maybe I've written it down wrong, but it's still correct. See, I originally thought that a Hurt Syndicate was going to win, but with what's going on with MJF, I do think they're actually going to have new champions here. One, basically, so obviously the Learning Tree can prove to Chris Jericho that they've actually learned something. And 2, so you can have a feud between like the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. Because I don't see MJF needing to help them win the tag team title match. So I don't really see it being a babyface version of MJF. I can see him trying to help, but then just getting it all wrong and costing them the titles. And that leading to a storyline between MJF and the Hurt Syndicate down the line. So there we go. The next match consists of Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole, baby. I originally said Daniel Garcia is going to win this, but I think his time with the TNT Championship is up. And I do think that Adam Cole, baby, is actually going to win this. And considering there is no time limit on this, and there is no outside interference to be permitted, if that makes sense. So, I do think it's going to be a good match, and I do think they are both equally good wrestlers, and I do think they are equally matched, which is the same thing. But I like to make some bold predictions here, so let's go for Adam Cole, baby, with the win here, and the new TNT Championship. Well, champion, I should say. And then we've got Chris Jericho, I can't even spell ROH, the Ring of Honor World Champion, taking on Bandito. Okay, it's title versus mask. Now, okay, if Bandito's going to get unmasked, it's just stupid. Like, if they want to keep a mask on, keep the mask on. If we take a mask off, take a mask off. Shouldn't be involved in some kind of match. I just don't understand it. Yeah, I don't know. But so, Chris Jericho will probably win, but I'm actually going to go with Bandito because I want him to win. I mean, Chris Jericho is the Ring of Honor World Champion. Sometimes I forget he's even the Ring of Honor World Champion, to be honest. And I think Bandito should keep his mask, and it'll shut Chris Jericho up for a while. And with the Learning Tree winning the tag team titles, my opinion, then Chris Jericho can afford to basically lose, his Ring of Honor World Championship. Then we've got a triple threat match between Kenny Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball Mike Bailey for the International Championship. Kenny's going to win. It's just stupid if he doesn't win. He won it a month ago at the other pay-per-view that I forgot the name of. And then that'll probably lead to a rivalry between Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kenny Omega basically going on to do other things. But it's going to be a fantastic match. One match I'm looking very excited for. But them two are just not as good as Kenny Omega. They're not going to win. That's my opinion. Then we'll go on to the Trios match for the AEW Trios World Tag Team Championships. It's a stupid title, that's my opinion. Titles. It's the Death Riders versus Rated FTR. Okay, the Death Riders are going to win, and then probably go on to do nothing for a while. Okay, so the situation with Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Okay, a lot of people probably think that obviously Dax is going to turn heel, on Cash Wheeler. But in all fairness, it wouldn't surprise me if Cash actually turns on Dax. But then I got myself thinking, more than likely they're probably going to lose the match, and then you're going to have Dax and Cash basically turning on Cope. Yeah, and then there'll be heels. Any reason for it? No. I don't know, maybe they're going to attack him, and then in the fantasy world we're going to have Christian Cage and Cope versus FTR. Probably not. But yeah, if someone's going to turn, it's either going to be Cash or Cash and Dax, not just Dax on his own. Dax sounds weird. Yeah. Ooh. Then we've got Timeless Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, Megan Bayne actually did pin Timeless Toni Storm in a tag team match on Collision or Dynamite, I forgot. One of them. So, because she did that, I don't see her losing. No, that's wrong. I don't see her winning this time, that makes sense. So, I do think we're going to have Timeless Toni Storm retain for a little bit. But it's going to be a good match, though, because Timeless Toni Storm she's just fantastic. Megan Bayne is like a fantastic powerhouse of a wrestler, but I can see Timeless Toni Storm overcoming the odds. Ooh. Then we go on to the main event. Okay, I've just recently watched the Death Riders and John Moxley, but he's Death Rider, I don't know. Put Swerve Strickland onto Glass. We've got Spikes, we've got Glass, we've got what's next? Was it real Glass though? Okay. So John Moxley versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. We assume it's for that because we haven't seen the belt in ages. John Moxley's going to win. I just feel like he's just going through an entire list of people. He'll probably go against Hangman Adam Page next to beat him. And then we're going to have some big return of maybe it's like Daniel Bryan, or some big moment where we finally defeat, John Moxley. Take the belt out and the belt's not there and he refuses to give it back. I don't know. Something along those lines. But basically, I'm saying I think John Moxley's actually going to win. So we've got a couple of title changes. I'm going to read it again. So I reckon the winners are going to be Mercedes Moné for the quarterfinal match, as you'd say. Will Ospreay, or somebody else called him the other day, Will Ospreay. Just shut up. For the men's quarterfinal match. The learning tree of Big Bill and Brian Keith to be the new AEW Tag Team World Champion title holders. That went completely wrong, but I'm keeping it as that. I reckon Adam Cole, baby, is going to win the TNT Championship. I reckon Bandito is going to defeat Chris Jericho for the ROH World Championship. Kenny Omega is going to retain his International Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey and Ricochet. Timeless Toni Storm will retain her AEW Women's World title. John Moxley will retain his AEW World Championship. And the Death Riders will retain their pointless Trios Tag Team Championships. So it looks like 3 title changes, and we're going to have 4 titles not changing hands. Victories. So 9 matches, 7 championships, 2 non-championship, but they're the quarter-final matches in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. But that's my opinion. Okay, let me know your opinion. Tell me how wrong I am and what you think's going to happen. Okay, something could change obviously on Ring of Honor. So if that does, I'll probably do nothing about it because I've already done this video. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.